Hello, once again, you are live with the prodigy of all things opinions, entertainment, intelligence, you name it. We're back with another opinion piece. This is not quite news, it's sort of news, but it's more of an opinion and fact, breaking down, analyzing all the details of this very hot button topic right now. Surviving R. Kelly is hashtag and it's taking over the media waves. It's the most important thing that a lot of people want to talk about right now, for good or bad. People will always be intrigued and mystified by controversy. That's why channels like the Breakfast Club, channels like Vlad TV, Say Cheese TV, all these channels have the success that they do because they're supplying and satisfying a niche or uh, part of the market that a lot of people overlook because they're afraid of the backlash. And all these hashtags and all this stuff is not trending for nothing. It's a reason that they're going like this. So at that point, it's just a matter of you want to get involved with it or not. Like I said, for good, bad, or indifferent, this is what's going on. This is what's trending in the world right now. It could be other things. It seems like every single day, R. Kelly and Donald Trump are trending, in Kanye West. That's another one. They're trending all over the place. Is all of these uh is all of these detractors or content creators or anybody that's trying to get traffic towards their channel covering this type of stuff. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I was trying to tag this before I got into the meat and potatoes of this. Now I can do that. Hope everybody's having a good day. Happy New Year. I'm optimistic for the new year as always. You should be as well. Don't let all this come down. If you're not interested in it, don't click on it. I don't like this idea that people got a voice has to be silenced because it's cancel culture. If you don't like something, just don't participate with it. I'm all about freedom of speech. And if you say something racist or crazy, your ass deserve to get what? Take it to the gavel, take it to whatever adjudication is necessary. But canceling people, I'm not really all that. Do people deserve to be held accountable? Of course they do. But I don't mean cancel people. If you don't like it, don't participate. I don't like this predatory nature of canceling people just because you want your ego to be fed. Now let's get into this R. Kelly thing. And my head has been spinning with all of the details about this shit. And most importantly, people's response to it is because we know we live in 2022, 2023, the age of public opinion. People a lot of the times have an opinion about a topic before the judge does. So we're in the court of public opinion a lot of times. And do I believe it's a bias as a black man towards other black men? Of course, but that don't mean I'm gonna let them off the hook. If you did something wrong, I'm gonna say you did something wrong. But I do feel that it's a bias specifically towards black men because of what history has put in a lot of people's face about black men. A lot of it is erroneous. Once again, if a person deserves to get crucified, I'm gonna crucify him. Simple as that. But in this particular case, this is a very murky and very, it looks like he's guilty, but it's a lot of details that's either glossed over or the lack of thorough investigation is making people think like, man, I wonder how much of this stuff is actually factual. I'm not even gonna lie. I mostly lean toward the fact that he's guilty. And a lot of just the amount of the numbers of people who's come out and said what he's done. That right there, I mean, it's hard to deny numbers. Like at the end of the day, you could be a fan. You could be a fan, like somebody, any of that type of stuff. However, it's hard to deny pure hardcore facts. And the fact that this man has the amount of allegations and people against him. R. Kelly, man, as Desi Arnaz would say, you got some explaining to do. You got some explaining to do, brother. But also, some of these women have some explaining to do. Some of these parents have some explaining to do. Let's start there because I didn't even know where I would take this. It's so many angles I could have took this from, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I don't even know where to start because it's so much. Is it right? Is it wrong? It's a lot of different ways you could look at this." And I would say the most surprising thing to me that come out of all of this is the amount of black women supporters that he have. Not that they're necessarily wrong. It's just I'm surprised. Like I'm so used to a lot of these women like just canceling people for stuff that women get away with. It's just crazy to me. I'm just a little too used to it. That's all. But it's a lot to be said about this. It's a lot of articles, but we're going to start with the most factual part. which is the actual information that was publicized. So he has charges going back all the way back to the early 90s. Some of them are still coming out to this day. Surviving R. Kelly Part 3 comes out tonight. Who knows what else? I'm hearing there's some girl that's going to have a testimony coming up soon. Who knows where this is going? But I will say this. This is what R. Kelly fucked up at. When you call yourself names like the Pied Piper, and then you going out specifically hanging around, because I'm from Chicago. All the people knew when he was on Jackson, the Red Lion stopped singing. He always would eye little girls, even when he went to Kenwood High School. My best friend went to Kenwood. He has a reputation there, good and bad. Kenwood is also a music school, but he has a reputation, good and bad, for he chose, like, I always had the opinion of whatever adults do is adults' business. But when you start involving children, that's where you have a problem with me. I am not with all this NAMBLA, all his kids can make decisions about their sexual change or lack thereof at the age of under 17. I'm not with all that shit. I'm just not. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss, but I'm not really with all that stuff. Let a child grow up organically. Let them make those decisions when they get of age, because the law says you're a minor until the age of 18. Stop letting these children make these adult decisions before the age of 18. Because guess what? If they get locked up for any type of crime, any type of infraction, where do you think they're going? They're going back to their parents' house. So until you get the age to make adult decisions, stop putting these. I feel like we're lowering the age of consent, and a lot of it is for money reasons. For consensual, you want them to get involved in all these things that pad your pockets that only adults should have access to, all these destructive behaviors. I think that's what a lot of it is. However, let's get back on track. Let's be factual with this R. Kelly situation. We know he dodged some allegations back in mid to early 2000, between 2005 and 2008. He dodged some allegations. So a lot of people, a lot of public figures got a lot of different opinions about this stuff. D.L. Hughley is one of them. D.L. Hughley makes things as jokes, but he makes stuff so digestible, and he's so articulate that a lot of times I tend to agree with D.L. Hughley. And what he said was, D.L. Hughley said that a black person that gives somebody a pass if they make them feel good. This is what he was saying out allegedly that they did with Michael Jackson, what they did with R. Kelly, what they do with Kanye West. And I tend to agree with a lot of what he says. He said that shows how bad we need to feel good. I agree with D.O. for the most part. Now, some women come up with great points that defend R. Kelly. My problem is with the women that blanketly and blindly defend R. Kelly. Those are the people I have an issue with. When you say, nope, he's innocent because I say he's innocent. Nope, where's your facts? Where's your real life experience? Proof is come from a lot of different aspects. It's not just what the judge say. A lot of the times it's personal experiences. A lot of our lessons we learn in life comes from personal experience. So when somebody talks like that, I'm telling, okay, I'm listening to you. Then when you put the facts out there, oh, you're making a good point. Then when you can prove it, oh, I believe you. That's what it comes out with me. I'm a very objective person to a fault at times. But I like to think that I look at things from a lot of different angles, contrary to popular belief. So with R. Kelly, I just think a lot of women fuck up when they just say, oh, or I like him just because I'm a fan. His music made me feel good. The amount of women that was defending I Admit It, which R. Kelly, dude, like, how does your brain work? If you're pleading your innocence, why would you make stuff like I Admit It? Now, I get he's saying I might like women. I like the amount of women, but once again, where the buck stops at with me is when you start messing with minors. I'm not with that shit, dude. I am not. It's not part of my culture. It's not part of my beliefs. I'm not with that. You could be my best friend for over 10 years. I will get rid of you if I found out you was playing with little kids. Anybody that really know me will tell you that about me. People got whatever opinion they want about me, which a lot of it is right. However, when it comes to children and preying on children, I'm not with that shit. It's just that simple. So with the R. Kelly thing, like I said, he dodged a lot of allegations going back as far as fuck. Like I said, early to mid 2000s, and people was knowing about it. Now, the information that's fresh that came out yesterday, which I think some of it was sensationalism, of course. Lifetime and all the people that's associated with it and all the investors and anybody that has any interest, of course, they're trying to sell ratings and sell documentaries. Of course, they're trying to do that. Everybody's guilty of that. However, with the sickening things that apparently did to women, make them eat feces and urine and all that, it's fucked up. Like, he has mental problems. There's no denying that R. Kelly has mental problems. That's pretty clear. Him, Kanye West, Donald Trump, all these people have mental health. I don't care how successful they are. They have mental health issues. However, what I will say is it's something called accountability that the parents have to have at some point. You don't know that your child was allegedly kidnapped for months. You don't call up, hey, where's my child? If they have a phone and they're not answering it, when you go to the place that you drop your children off at, this is where I take issue with a lot of black women that say, oh, no, y'all just defending him because y'all are fans. Y'all defending him because y'all automatically think black women are wrong. Y'all are defending him because he's a guy. Okay, no, we're not defending him for those reasons. Some people are. I'm not. I'm asking simple, logical, objective questions. Where were the parents? You can say whatever the hell you want. You don't know where your adolescent child is? Are you fucking crazy? That is neglect. The state should be taking your child if they're not an adult. Now, adult's a different story. I'm not. If you allow this as an adult, you need to get some help. But children, where were the parents? Once again, where the hell were the parents at? I'm not going to tolerate these goddamn excuses. Where were the parents? R. Kelly, of course, he needs to take a lot of the blame on the chin, but where were the parents? That is the question we're going to continue to ask until people get this. Let's get into the case. So it says, starting in the 90s, journalists, an alleged victim of R. Kelly, accused him of sexually abusing. We're going to get to the other journalist that was connected to surviving R. Kelly. He was like a white guy. Young fans, including minors, and luring them into inappropriate sexual relations. The Cook County State Attorney, which is in Illinois, I live in Cook County, indicted Kelly in 2002 on child pornography. He should have went to jail for that, but failed to convict him in resulting 2008 trial. Kelly evaded lasting consequences until 2019 documentary televised series Surviving R. Kelly, re-examined accusations with R. Kelly. Now, what we need to talk about here is the possible, what's the word I'm looking for? The possible media preying on opportunity and being opportunistic. We already know around that time, the Me Too, the speaking out movement, all that stuff was trending. Of course, like I said, Lifetime and all these people are trying to sell documentaries. If you don't think everybody or a lot of people connected to the Me Too movement and the what's the stuff called speaking out and all that have agendas that specifically benefit them, you're not being honest. We already know these people are trying to sell information, trying to sell clicks, downloads, merchandise. Yes, that's true. I don't have an issue with them doing it because I believe in a free market and people should do whatever they want as long as they're not breaking the law. However, we already know these people have ulterior motives. We will be being dishonest if we weren't saying that. These people have ulterior motives. Let's get back to the information. So we already talked about Kelly evading backlash up until 2019. Sexual misconduct with minors, and apparently extra element that was added yesterday, which I'm not surprised. He played with little boys. Of course they do. This is a sin of Hollywood. The whole, in the wrestling, I grew up in the wrestling industry. I trained to be a wrestler for a while. It's terminology called breaking him in, which breaking in sounds already sexually predatory to me to begin with. But essentially, is you take a young understudy and they go under your rites of passage, and a lot of times they have to do sexual things. That's not always the case. Usually it's something that's just humiliating. That's not always sexual. But I have a problem with anybody exploiting minors to begin with, no matter what industry, what walk of life. I have an issue with that. So I'm from the industry. What I know about breaking in, that's a terminology in Hollywood, which wrestling is an extension of Hollywood. It's theater and entertainment. So that's always been a part of this. So I'm not surprised that allegedly he was grooming little boys. But once again, where were the parents? I'm not letting them off the hook. They should be in jail with R. Kelly. So let's continue here. Backlash led to RCA Records to terminate their contract with R. Kelly. Law enforcement in New York, y'all knew about this shit. Y'all should be in jail too. Law enforcement in New York, Chicago, and Minneapolis pursued new criminal cases against Kelly following the documentary. Kelly was arrested on federal charges in July of 2019. Denied bail, which is unconstitutional. Then again, I don't know what a lot of the federal laws is, but to me, that sounds unconstitutional. I need to do further research, though. Kelly has been in a federal prison since a 2001 trial in Brooklyn federal court. So this is the charges related to New York. Convicted Kelly for violations on Mann Act. And the Mann Act, for people that don't really know, let's open it up in the thing. I kind of remember because I studied it when I was in law class. The Mann Act, the federal law passed on June 25th, 1910, over 100 years ago. It's named after Congressman John Robert Mann. It's originally formed the act that made it a felony to engage in interstate or foreign commerce transporting any woman or girl for the purpose of prostitution or debauchery, or for any immoral purpose. So basically, sex trafficking, prostitution, everything associated with that, which is a good law. That shouldn't be legal to begin with. I agree with it. So Kelly was arrested in Brooklyn, New York. He had to trial there because this is stuff that with interstate and specifically with the state of New York. Denied bail, Kelly has been in federal prison since. So we talked about that with the federal thing, blah, blah, blah. 2022 trial in Chicago federal court convicted Kelly for 3 child pornography charges and 3 charges for enticing a minor, but acquitted him of charges of conspiracy to obstruct justice in relation to the 2008 trial. This is a very murky, fucked up situation, which is the only thing that's close to this is the Tory Lanez trial, which we'll get to that later this month. The Brooklyn court sentenced R. Kelly to 30 years imprisonment. His sentencing in Chicago court is slated for February 2003. We'll also follow up when that gets closer to the trial date. This is the crazy thing about this whole situation. Why did y'all wait so long to convict this man if he was wrong? Now, I can hear an argument for the women with scared victims of rape and all this stuff are usually denied. They don't want to get slandered. They don't want to affect their job. I hear all that. However, when it comes to people with the know-how and the ability to convict Robert Sylvester Kelly, why did y'all wait so long? You can't get mad when people start asking questions about why did this take so long. Y'all have the power to put him away. It's very similar to the Bill Cosby. If he sexually molested and had misconduct with all these women, this man was the most prominent comedian and entertainer in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. How the hell did it take y'all this long to convict him? The same could be said about R. Kelly. He's probably the most prominent R&B singer ever. How did it take this long to convict him if y'all had the evidence? It comes off as predatory and opportunistic when you take this goddamn long. That's these questions that we need to ask these people. Stop being fearful. Stop being caught up in the matrix because you're mesmerized by the great editing and production of the people that was involved in making this documentary. We have to ask some questions. We need to be putting our objective brain into use. Stop sitting here making excuses for people because they make you feel good or you like their art. I don't like that. Same thing with Kanye West. Kanye West is a piece of crap to me for what he's done to black, Jewish people, whoever, to women, whoever he's abused. I have a problem with that. I don't care that he's from Chicago. He makes good music. I have an issue with Kanye West because he has mental issues. He needs to be checked for it. It's just that simple with me. I'm an objective person, or at least I try to be. That sounds like bullshit to me. I'm not going to defend somebody because I like their art. I'm getting emotional. Let's get back to the information. So it's slated for February 2023, specifically with these additional charges that he will be charged in federal court, specifically in Chicago. As of September of 2022, a little bit over 6 months ago, Kelly is an inmate of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago. I think that's like downtown. I think I know where that is because I don't think that's MCC. Where is this at? I think this is... Yeah, I thought that's where it was. This is in like the westish part of Chicago. Anyway, that's not that relevant. That's not super relevant. R. Kelly is. So Pusha T, he continues to challenge his 2 convictions as he should as a American citizen. You have the right to defend yourself. Even if it looked like you have, it has to be without a reasonable doubt, probable cause for them to convict you. Let's push forward with, that's what we got here. Well, I want to take this now. Now, we could break this down into specific. Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Early sexual abuse allegations going back to the 90s. In December of 2000, the Chicago Sun-Times first reported that police had made 2 investigations that R. Kelly was having sex with an underage girl. Now, something that somebody called to this guy, his name is, what's this fellow I was listening to him? His podcast. His name is, I might have refreshed it. I think his name was Wally. He sounds like he's from down south or some shit like that. But anyway, they were calling to his show. A lot of the women were leaning towards the same thing I was saying. Where were the parents at? And not only that, how much accountability do the victims have for lying about their age? I am a man. I know that women lie about their age. That don't make things right. However, me as a man, if I was trying to get in a relationship with a woman, I'm gonna assess how old she is. That's where R. Kelly messed up at, and that's where he deserves a lot of his accountability at. R. Kelly, why didn't you do your thorough research and ask these women, or at least ascertain how old these women were? It's no excuse for you being irresponsible as an adult male, as an entertainer with a lot of influence. Why didn't you ask how old these girls were? I'm not going to sit back and let him get off the hook with that. That's BS. Now let's go back to these allegations here. So the Chicago Sun-Times talking about him with the underage girl, but had to drop the investigation due to lack of cooperation by the girls accusing him. Now, the first thing the defenders that people want R. Kelly to go to jail will say is he paid those women off, which we know that does happen a lot of times, that victims get paid off, they get paid hush money, and what a lot of the defenders will say to R. Kelly is, yeah, they got mad when that money ran out, which also could be true. That's why going to court is totally necessary and why it needs to happen. A civil suit filed in 1996 by Tiffany Hawkins detailed allegations, that starting in 1991, when she was the age of 15, 24-year-old R. Kelly had sexual relations with her as an underage high school student, which a lot of people have confirmed that with R. Kelly. People went to school, R. Kelly said he's always had a taste for girls. So that right there, why was he convicted a long ass time ago? This sounds crazy to me. What type of judicial system do we have? And also, parents, y'all need to be in jail. Kelly encouraged her to recruit her school friends and pursue her into engaging in group sex with other underage girls. Dude, you like STDs. In 1998, Kelly settled the lawsuit with Hawkins for $250,000. So that go to settlement. So I don't know what the statutes of limitations or what the immunity that girl get, or can she not speak out and all that stuff. All this stuff is kind of murky and needs to be investigated. Now, I see why a lot of people are saying they got upset when the money ran out and all that type of stuff. It's a hard situation to navigate. Now let's get to the legal marriage. I think this is with R. Kelly. I'm sorry, with R. Kelly. With R. Kelly marrying Aaliyah. Now, I'm not letting Aaliyah off the chain. I know people it's taboo and all because she died and all that. But all the times I saw an interview with R. Kelly, she looked like it was consent that she married him. And allegedly she lied about her age. It's so fun. This is crazy. So in 1992, Barry Hankerson, who was Aaliyah's uncle and her manager, introduced his niece, Aaliyah, to Kelly when she was 12 years old. A witness later testified that Kelly had sexual contact with Aaliyah starting when she was 13 to 14. Kelly wrote and produced Aaliyah's first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, which is a crazy thing to title something. That right there lets you know he like underage kids. And it could be a pun, oh, well, age means she's talent. Don't put talent on age, blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying that shit. All this ain't nothing wrong and all this. R. Kelly was telling y'all a long time ago that this man likes underage girls with his music. Art is imitating life. On August 31st, 1994, Kelly, then 27, illegally married Aaliyah, then 15, in a secret ceremony in Rosemont, a village in Chicago, Illinois. Now, the question is, what by definition defines illegal marriage? Because this don't sound like it should have been happening. First of all, whoever was what's the word I'm looking for? The person that was overseeing this, what the fuck is this called? Ceremony. Like they have, there is just as bad as R. Kelly. They have responsibility in being in jail. Like y'all just as bad as R. Kelly. Y'all let this shit. I don't care what fucking county it was in. Like, how did y'all allow this to happen as long as it did is the question. These are the uncomfortable questions that we have to ask ourselves if we want justice with this R. Kelly situation. Keep pushing forward the information. Kelly's tour manager, Demetrius Smith, admitted he facilitated the wedding by obtaining falsified identification from Aaliyah, which Aaliyah had to obviously be willing to give him or participate in, which listed her as an 18-year-old girl. The marriage was annulled in February of 1995 at the behest of Aaliyah's family by Michigan's judge. Kelly and Aaliyah both denied that the marriage occurred or there we go. Kelly and Aaliyah, she has to take some responsibility, and her family. They both denied that the marriage occurred or that their relationship had moved beyond that friendship. In May of 1997, Aaliyah filed a lawsuit, which probably her parents probably told her to, in the Cook County to have the marriage record expunged, stating she was underage at the time or married. Yes, this definitely sounds like her family pressured her into doing it. She had lied by signing the marriage certificate as an 18-year-old and that she could not legally enter into marriage without parental consent. Yep, there you go. The expungement request was included in a lawsuit by Tiffany Hawkins, who sought to use the marriage document. I think that's the girl he was dating at the time. In her case against Kelly, Hawkins later accepted a settlement for $250,000 from Kelly, subject to confidentiality. Sorry, I can't talk. Agreement in 1998, which means I think that waived her right. If I'm not mistaken about that, I think that waives your right to say something. Now I don't know what the statute of limitation with that is, if it's true. In 2019, federal prosecutors in the state of New York charged Kelly with bribery related to 1994 purchase of a fake identification card for Aaliyah. So y'all charged them way after the fact. How many years was this? 4 years. For Aaliyah in order to obtain a marriage license. Kelly, through his lawyers, admitted in 2021 having an underage sexual contact with Aaliyah. Everybody knew that back then. The question, once again, is why was he not taken to court for this shit, is the question. Come on now. So keep pushing forward. Now, I want to stop for a minute and look at this confidentiality agreement. A non-disclosure or NDA is a legal contract or part of a contract between at least two parties that outlines confidential material, knowledge, information that parties wish to share with others. So basically, she signed an NDA, but I don't know what the statutes and limitation is. We will have to look deeply into that. I'm sure it's something that we could work out of it. Let's keep pushing forward. Let's go to 2002, which was 6 years after the Aaliyah marriage thing. Which this is almost 20, a little bit over 20 years after the fact. February, when he's going to charge soon to court for his recent charges. On February 3rd, 2002, a video began circulating, alleging depicting R. Kelly's sexual abuse to a girl known to be underage. I think this was the peeing thing. The abuses included Kelly urinating on her. The video was released by an unknown source and sent to Chicago Sun-Times. The publisher broke the story on February 8th, 2002. The same day Kelly performed at the opening ceremony of the 2002 Winter Olympics. Now, of course, they knew the most eyeballs was going to be on R. Kelly at the time. It comes off as kind of malicious, but I get what they were trying to do. Now, let's slow down for a second and ask ourselves a couple questions. Did this girl willingly stay at R. Kelly's house? Now, the girl's not wrong if she's underage. Where were her parents? Your parents wasn't trying to ascertain or get information from your daughter about if this man was abusing you or not. This is I will never allow this to happen to my children. This is crazy. I don't have children, but if I did, I have nieces and nephews. I wouldn't allow this to happen. Nor will my sisters or brothers of their kids allow this to happen. Kelly has said in interviews that he was not the man in the video, which I don't know. In June of 2002, Kelly was indicted in Chicago on 21 accounts of child pornography. That's a lot. The same month, on June 6, 2002, Kelly was arrested by the Miami Police Department on a Chicago arrest warrant at his Florida vacation home. Oh, yeah, this must not be one of those extradition states where they can come pick your ass up. He was released after one night in jail the following day after posting bail at $750,000. Money talks. While investigating the photographs reported in the Chicago Sun-Times, Polk County Sheriff's Office conducted a search on Kelly's residence in Davenport, Florida. During the search, officers recovered 12 images of an alleged, keyword alleged, that's the operative term, underage girl on a digital camera wrapped in a towel in a duffel bag, which allegedly depicted Kelly, quote, involved in sexual contact with the female minor. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, the girl in the image obtained from Kelly's Florida home also appears in videotape, which got Kelly indicted in Chicago. I don't know, bro. These are some heavy allegations, man. This shit is heavy that you need to dude. It's hard to claim your innocence when all this evidence is coming out, dude. I'm just speaking the facts, though. Police investigators from Polk County and Miami-Dade County arrested R. Kelly on January 22nd, 2003 at his Miami Wyndham Grand Bay Hotel for 12 counts of possession of child pornography. Once again, how is this man not in jail? How is he not in jail? Well, he's in jail, but back then, how was he not in jail? Kelly posted bail for $12,000 and was released 3 hours later from Miami-Dade County. A lot of this stuff, dude, it's so many people involved in this shit. It's sickening almost. This is fucked up to even think about. The amount of people that turn a blind eye to these alleged problems. If this happened, why didn't nobody say anything about it? It's sickening, man. Honestly, the legal system conspired, the police station conspired, the parents conspired. The only people right now that's innocent are the fucking kids. To me, Now, once again, I'm talking about somebody under the age of 17. Well, in most cases, sometimes 17. Under 18. This is some fucked up, sickening stuff, man. Like I don't know how people sleep at night being involved with this stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. By the way, my Twitch content is TVMA, so if I'm cussing a lot, that's what y'all signed up for. So police investigated. We already read that. In March of 2004, these charges were dropped due to lack of probable cause, which that's the way. Agree, disagree. That's how our legal system is set up. Probable cause must be proven for the search warrants. And they basically broke in his house without any probable cause. He just was there on a hunch. They was fishing. The alleged victim refused to testify at the time. It could be a buyout or fear. We don't know. And Chicago jury found Kelly not guilty on all 14 counts of child pornography in June of 2008. It's a lot of charges, man, in over the 10, 15 years. Kelly's own defense lawyer, Ed Ginson, questioned the acquittal and Kelly's public proclamation of innocence. Bro, it ain't about public. Well, in today's time, it is about the law. It should be about the law, but it isn't. Allegation of child molestation in 2009. In a divorce court filing unsealed in 2020, R. Kelly's former wife, Andrea, claims that R. Kelly was accused of molesting a preteen girl in 2009. Now, the question is, a lot of these people have, is a lot of these women's motives seem, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of these women motives seems based around money, which is kind of hard to disprove when you wait as long as you do to say something about it. Now, I applaud and proud of the women that spoke out about against this man's alleged problems back then when they felt like I applaud their courageousness when they knew they would be publicly crucified. People wouldn't believe them, and they spoke out. I applaud it. However, you're not looking good when people not defending you. And I'm not saying, and of course, it's not fair that money buys people out of jail. Sometimes you need the facts should be enough. I understand that. However, it makes you look bad when you don't show courage. This is why you should show courage. Second series of accusations, and this is going into the 2010. This man has been involved with this shit for 3 decades now, and he's still not in jail. Huffington Post live interview 2015. In December of 2015, Kelly appeared on the Huffington Post live in an interview with journalist Carolyn Tarani. The interview was conducted so he could promote the release of his 13th solo album, The Buffet. R. Kelly, dude, what is up with you naming your albums this crazy stuff, man? The Buffet? Like, why would people, like, really, dude? Why is that your album name? The Buffet. Like, how do you make yourself look innocent when you got names like this, dude? I'm not defending him. It's just like, what the fuck? Did this come on, man? Anyway, let's keep pushing forward. During the interview, Tarani quizzed R. Kelly about the sexual abuse allegations being leveled against him and wanted to gauge his reaction. This resulted in Kelly growing angry and defensive. He continually shouted over her and asked whether she drank and threatened to leave and go to McDonald's. Oh, shit. He threatened to go to McDonald's. Kelly stormed out of the interview before it ended. The incident was one of the first accusations where Kelly was concretely asked about allegations against him on a public platform. Following Kelly's New York conviction in late September of 2021, Tarani tweeted, quote, "Now with this verdict, hopefully his survivors get some peace and feel the justice." Once again, man, this is such a slippery slope. This is such a slippery slope to navigate because there's so many different angles and so many different ways to really look at this. And a lot of it is a lot of people are responsible, but only people being charged is R. Kelly at the moment. That's where a lot of people take issue. It's not that they want R. Kelly to get off. They're asking the question, why was R. Kelly the only person in jail for this? That's all people are asking. The incident was one of the first occasions where Kelly was concretely asked about the allegation. Boom, we already asked about it. Now, let's go to the dude that's allegedly been investigating this. Jim DeRogatis. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, dude, but that's a weird-ass name. Alleged sex cults in 2010. reported by BuzzFeed News, which I think is a gossip thing. On July 17th, 2017, that Kelly was accused by 3 sets of parents of holding her daughters in an abusive code. First of all, how does your daughter do anything that you don't have any opinion about? Now, the question asks, were you taking money for this? That's what we need to ask. I know this is tough for some people, but we have to ask these tough questions. The parents obviously played a role. How do you not know where your child is? I don't want to hear excuses. So either you signed off on something or you just as bad because you didn't report your kid getting kidnapped. I'm sorry, I'm not making excuses for you. Let's push forward. In March of 2018, BBC World Service, which is a British thing, I believe, aired a documentary entitled R. Kelly, Sex, Girls, and Videotapes. Even the British got in on this shit. Presented by reporter Ben Zan that explored the 2017 allegations. This was followed up in May with the BBC 3 documentary R. Kelly, The Sex Scandal Continues, which included interviews with the Savage family. Ooh, yeah, not Macho Man, but whoever Savage is. Kelly was again accused of misconduct on April 17th, 2018 by a former partner I'm sorry, of his, who claimed that Kelly, quote, intentionally infected her with a STD. Now that's fucked up. Hopefully you did something to get him something out of that. A representative, if it's true, a representative from Kelly stated that, quote, categorically denies all claims and allegations. In January of 2019, BBC News article, a woman named Asante McGee, whom Kelly had met in 2014 and taken to live with him some months later, said that she lived with not only Kelly alone, but with other women. She said, quote, he controlled every aspect of my life while I lived with him. What kind of agreement and contract did y'all have? Once again, that's what a lot of people are not answering right now. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure my audio was still because my mic is kind of iffy sometimes. What kind of agreement did you have with R. Kelly? What kind? These are the questions, the tough questions that we need to be asking. Everybody needs to be held accountable. Boycott and industry response. Now, this is what we come to modern times. In May of 2018, the woman of color branch of the Time's Up movement called for a boycott of Kelly's music and performance over the many allegations against him. The boycott was accompanied by a social media campaign called Mute R. Kelly. In response, his management said that R. Kelly supports the movement in principle. That was good PR. But marketing him was, quote, the attempt of lynching a black man who has made extraordinary contributions to our culture. Come on now, y'all sound crazy. Music streaming service Spotify announced on May 10th, 2008, that it was going to stop promoting or recommending music by R. Kelly. And the Triple X guy stated, we don't censor content because of artists or a creator's behavior, but we want our editorial decision, which we choose to program to reflect our values. Nah, y'all know what y'all was doing. 2 days later, Apple Music and Pandora also announced that they would cease to promote R. Kelly's music. Spotify was criticized by members of the music industry with concerns with the decision would create a slippery slope of muting artists accused of sexual criminal activity. You should not get promoted if you're doing some fucked up stuff. I mean, they are a publicly traded company. Spotify ultimately reversed the decision following the initial backlash, including the Top Dog Entertainment, which Kendrick is associated with, which threatened to remove its musical catalog from the streaming service. Now, this is a artist versus everybody else type thing. A lot of artists do this. Comedians do this. A lot of people protect their community. So this is not unique to just R. Kelly. In early January 2019, Kelly was dropped from RCA Records following the airing of Surviving R. Kelly. Now, I have a question for RCA. How long were y'all in bed with this? How long were y'all promoting, and how long were y'all what's the word I'm looking for? How long were y'all complicit in letting R. Kelly do this because y'all like the money that he was bringing in? That's the question I have for you. Which detailed numerous sexual allegations against the singer for decades. A number of musicians who collaborated with Kelly expressed regret for working with him, including Celine Dion, Nick Cannon, Lady Gaga, and Jennifer Hudson. Wow, y'all regret working with him? Y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all probably knew something about that. Hollywood is a close-knit community. Y'all not gonna tell me y'all didn't know about that. Come on now. Y'all just accountable. Some went the extent of having streaming services remove their own music that feature his vocals or credit him for songwriter production. This is the times we live in, y'all. People try to deny association with people they knew they had problems. As of October of 2021, Following his New York conviction, Kelly's YouTube channel was terminated. I'm surprised that they terminated before that. But then again, YouTube is a marketing company. If you can make the money, they'll hide stuff. They're very opportunistic. But his catalog remained available on YouTube Music. Alleged industry complicity. In May of 2008, the Washington Post reporter Jeff, I'm thinking his name is Jeff Eggers, wrote, quote, "The Star Treatment," a lengthy article alleging music industry executives' willful blindness to R. Kelly. Now, this might be a good point. Willful blindness to R. Kelly's sexual abuse behavior towards underage girls. Eggers reported that as early as 1994, Kelly's tour manager urged Jive Records founder Clive Calder to tell Kelly he would not release the singer's record if he continued to have, quote, incidents with young women after every concert he gave. Calder told the Post that he regretted not having done more at the time. Quote, "Yeah, you just trying to save your interest. Come on, bro." Former Jive president Barry Weiss told the newspaper that during 20 years with the label, he never concerned himself with Kelly's private life and was aware of the 2 lawsuits filed against Kelly and the label by young women alleging sexual misconduct while they were minors. First of all, yes, y'all knew about this, and you right there admitting that it was about money that you didn't say anything, and it took backlash for you to say something. You're also liable in this situation. Jive Records had, in fact, successfully argued it was not liable. Larry Kahn, another Jive executive who worked closely with the singer, even after viewing the sex tape, likewise implied it was not the label's responsibility and pointed to Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis as musicians whose label to continue release and promote their record despite public awareness that they were involved in underage girls. Yes, I agree. Everybody across the board should be in jail, or even those people they just named. Even Elvis, who married a 14-year-old, whoever that was, Priscilla Kelly, or whatever her name was. According to the Post, executives at Epic Records also took a similarly relaxed attitude towards allegations of R. Kelly's sexual misconduct. In 2002, after Kelly signed with the label, executive David McPherson allegedly avoided viewing a copy of a tape purportedly showing the singer having sex with an underage girl. He simultaneously warned Kelly's assistant that if it turned out to be R. Kelly on tape, the label would drop him. McPherson did not respond to the Post's request, and he was trying to protect his business. That's all it was. Because they wanted to comment for him, and he didn't give it to him. After Kelly signed with the label, he avoided viewing a copy. Wow, that sounds crazy. You avoid viewing it? An intern with the label whose work suffered after she began a relationship with Kelly, ultimately costing her the position. Of course, this happens all walks of life. All powerful people do this. Settled with Epic for $250,000, another payout. Kathy Carroll, the executive she worked for, regularly rebuked her former subordinate for having an affair with a married man whenever the two met on social functions for years afterwards. The damage to the woman's reputation led her to abandon her career in the music industry. Carroll told the newspaper the woman was starstruck. A lot of times it was not really. Now, the question is, even after all this and he allegedly ruined your career, why you kept connection with the man? These are questions that people are afraid to ask, and they shouldn't be. It's crazy, but it is what it is. The Washington Post also suggested, I don't want this video to go too long, but it's a lot of information to cover. It ain't that bad. The Washington Post also suggested that the labels were complicit in the sex cult allegations from the previous summer BuzzFeed piece. Employees at the studios where Kelly recorded were required to sign NDAs and not enter certain rooms, which they said they believe were where Kelly made the young women, underage girls stay while he worked. This probably that sounds pretty plausible. This is fucked up. All the people, once again, all these people that turn a blind eye. Y'all just suspect. Stop being opportunistic. I'm not letting y'all off the leash. Despite the agreements, the newspaper was able to publish screenshots of text exchanges where young women, underage girls in a room asked Kelly assistants to let them out so they could go to the bathroom or get food. The newspaper also published pictures taken after Kelly had concluded a 6-week session at LA studio, paid for by his former record label. RCA Records showing a cup of urine sitting on the piano and urine stains on the wooden floor of another. Now, this is some sick shit if he actually did this. The musical response to allegations. Now, this is how the music world about it. R. Kelly released the 19-minute long I Admit It on SoundCloud. Oh, that was one song. I didn't know I thought it was an album. On July 23rd, 2018, as a response, it started off as a song. As a response to his accusers, the song does not contain any incriminating admissions, despite its title and chorus, which repeats the lyric, "I admit it, I did it." And quote, "I admit it." Kelly denies allegations of domestic violence and pedophilia, asserting that they are matters of opinion. Kelly also, no, they're not, dude. Kelly also denounces the guy that's been reporting forever, Jim D, and repudiates his investigative reports, claims of Kelly operating a sex cult, addressing the quote, "Mute R. Kelly" social media campaign. Kelly sings, "Only God Can Mute Me." Now, he handled this pretty decent as far as the song goes. The song was criticized by reviewers who described this as an act of trolling. Many outlets compared the song to that of "Heaven I Need a Hug," the extended version, "Trapped in the Closet" opera, "I Believe I Can Fly" concert, remix in the O.J. Simpson's autobiographical novel, "If I Did It." Andrea Kelly and Carrie Kelly, Killer Kelly, R. Kelly's ex-wife and brother, respectively, responded to "I Admit It" with songs that contain additional allegations against R. Kelly. Now, they was probably paid too. I wouldn't be, but if they weren't, we need to see documentation that they weren't paid. Excuse me. An album credited to Kelly's title, "I Admit It," after including the 19-minute song from 2018, was released on the streaming service, so it did return into an album eventually on December 9th, 2002, but was taken down after it was not approved by Sony or R. Kelly's team. So somebody that he must have leaked it. The album was credited to Sony's Legacy Recording, but actually uploaded by Real Talks Entertainment, who had released the album through a sub-label also named Legacy Recording. This resulted in credited distributor Universal Music on Ingrove's cutting ties with Real Entertainment. Okay, and now this fast forwards to Surviving R. Kelly. Now I'm going to take a break so I can accumulate some spit in my mouth because I've been talking for a goddamn while. In January of 2009, Lifetime began airing a 6-part documentary. This is for the people that don't know. Series titled "Surviving R. Kelly," detailing the sexual abuse and misconduct allegations against R. Kelly. Writing for the Los Angeles Times, Lorraine Ali, sorry if I butchered your name, observed that the series covered a range of in-depth interviews that, quote, paint a picture of the predator whose behavior was consistently overlooked by the industry, his peers, and the public, while his spiritual hit was sung in the churches and schools. Within 2 weeks, Kelly launched a Facebook page where he sought to discredit the accuser, who he appeared as he has the right to as an American citizen. Facebook removed the page for violating their standards, as it appears to contain personal contact information for the accusers. The season, titled "Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, The Reckoning," premiered January 2nd, 2020. January 2nd and 3rd of 2023 commences the dates of the season finale, the final chapter, as confirmed on December 14th, 2022 by a Lifetime trailer. Following airing of Surviving R. Kelly documentary, Kelly was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most searched for male musician on Google in 2019. He ranked 8th overall on Google list of the 10 most searched people of the year. Now, this is the question right here that is a little crazy. People will call this man or try to get him canceled and say he don't deserve the public. Why was he so searched then? How, man, and it shows you this plays to the amount of people or how sensationalism will always sell. People will hate something, but will hate watch it. People will say somebody should be canceled, but they're going to put their personal experiences of. I honestly think a lot of people have prejudice towards stuff based off their experiences. So they're going to put that out there and that's going to gauge. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. We should always be factual. I understand that you have an emotional situation with this and you should get help and you deserve to talk about it. However, don't let that cloud your objective decision making, which a lot of women do. A lot of women and some men allow their personal experience to judge objectivity. And I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. So, CBS, The Morning Interview with Gayle King, 2009, which is one of the most hilarious. This was responsible for creating some of the most hilarious memes ever for the people that haven't seen it. On March 6, 2009, Gayle King interviewed Kelly on CBS This Morning. Kelly insisted on his innocence and blamed social media for allegations. During the interview, Kelly had an emotional outburst where he stood up, pounded his chest, and yelled, "Which you look like an idiot. If you did something wrong, you should be called out for it." Asked by King about John Legend and Lady Gaga denouncing him, Kelly called them not professional. The CBS This Morning segment also included two women whose parents claim were brainwashed captives by R. Kelly. How are you a brainwashed captive by anybody? Like, this sounds like some government Project Paperclip shit or something. This just sounds crazy. Afterwards, don't you have a brain? You can't you think for yourself? Afterward, Kelly would debrief with colleagues on the recording of the segment. She recalled that a condition for recording the segment with, quote, the girlfriends was that Kelly would not be in the room with them. Kelly had nevertheless stayed nearby during the recording, and according to King, Kelly would cough really loudly to remind the women of his presence. Well, that's all sounds kind of subjective. You got to be able to prove that. That sounds. I mean, maybe his throat was just itching that day. I don't know. But if that's man, if he got control over those women like that, once again, when do we start putting everybody involved in jail? Like the women, y'all should have said something. Which, if they did, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. If you said something, went shame on the justice system or the parents. Like, when do we get to the point where the parents are just as liable? The judge set bond at $1 million and ordered R. Kelly to have no contact with any minor under 18 or alleged victim. Kelly pled not guilty to all charges, which a smart person would, which he called lies. He was released on bail after 3 nights at Cook County Jail. And the amount of people, speaking of Cook County Jail, the amount of people that were outside protesting for R. Kelly is still to this point amazing to me. It's crazy the amount of people that were outside. He still got supporters, whether y'all want to admit it or not. Federal indictments in pretrial detention, 2019, which is where it stands today. The first grand jury indictment from Eastern District of New York was handed down on June 20th, 2019. On July 11th, 2009, Kelly was arrested on federal charges alleging sex crimes and obstruction of justice by the U.S. Homeland Security investigators and NYPD detectives in Chicago. A day later, following his rearrest, federal prosecutors from New York indicted Kelly on 18 charges, including child sexual exploitation, child pornography production, sex trafficking, kidnapping, forced labor, racketeering, and obstruction of justice. Following his rearrest on the first superseding indictment, the United States Attorney for Eastern District of New York filed a letter in support of permanent order of detention that previewed its case against R. Kelly, concluding that, quote, preponderance of evidence that the defendant's release posed a both risk of flight and a risk of obstruction of justice, which probably is true. Kelly's first arrangement, I think, on the Eastern District case took place before a United States magistrate judge, Stephen Tiscione. I'm sorry, I butchered the hell out of your name probably, on August 2nd, 2009, where he pled not guilty. The judge denied bail on grounds of both dangerousness and flight risk, which, you know what, could be true. Like, a lot of this is probably based off people's previous experiences with R. Kelly, which, is fair. Kelly's lawyer made a request for pretrial release October 2019 and were denied. His lawyers tried again to secure pretrial release in 2020, citing the COVID-19 pandemic. The request was denied. Superseding indictments were filed in Chicago on February 13th, 2020, and in New York on March 13th, 2020, raising the total number of charges to 22. He was incarcerated at the Metropolitan Correctional Center on July 11, 2019 to June 23rd, 2021, where he was transferred to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. I think that's where he currently is. I think this is the Minnesota situation in 2019. On August 9th, 2019, the state's attorney's office in Hennepin County, Minnesota, charged Kelly with soliciting a minor and prostitution. Prosecutors alleged in July 2001, following a concert in Minneapolis, Kelly had invited a girl up to the hotel room and paid her $200 to remove her clothing and dance with him. I don't know. Was she an adult? Let's read this again. It said girl. I don't really say her age. I don't know. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to get away with that one. That sounds kind of like she made an adult decision. That's what it sounds like to me, and got paid for it. Excuse me. Do I want to talk about his trial? We'll briefly go over the trial in Eastern District, New York. The United States District Court in Eastern District, New York was the first federal court to indict Kelly at the time. It was the only jurisdiction to take Kelly to trial. The charges filed in the wake of survivor R. Kelly. Investigations continue with Kelly indicted, jail, and awaiting trial. Before trial, prosecutors previewed a growing body of evidence, including evidence of bribes and recording of threats. It was a month before the trial that prosecutors first accused Kelly of abusing a male victim, an underage boy he met at McDonald's, as pattern of evidence. I wouldn't be surprised. Usually people abuse both sexes. Jury trial with Judge Ann Denali presiding, voir dire in the United States versus R. Kelly was held on August 9th, 2021. The same day, Kelly's lawyers filed a second motion and dismissed charges related to his transmission of genital herpes to several of his victims. That Kelly knew of his infection and non-disclosure of his sexual partners to the criminal act under the Public Health Law of New York and was presented as a predicate act for the charge and racketeering as well as violations of the Mann Act. Judge Dinelli denied the motion, releasing a written decision after trial. The federal jury trial began on August 18, 2021, with opening statements by prosecution and defense lawyers. The first witness called was Jahonda Pace, one of the subjects of R. Kelly's surviving R. Kelly, who identified is widely known. She was the first of R. Kelly's accusers to have ever testified against him in court. Pace testified, I'm questioning the statutes of limitation with this. Pace testified that Kelly's abuse included slapping, choking, and raping her. On cross-examination, Pace was asked about signing a statement that she had deceived Kelly about her age and replied that it was a condition of the settlement. Interesting. Well, you signed it. Once again, this goes to statutes of limitation. How long does this stuff last and how complicit you were in said act? That's what it comes down to. It's about facts, not emotions. In all, 11 witnesses at Kelly's trial accused him of abuse, either sexual or physical, with some accusing him of both. Two accusers were men alleging Kelly had sexually abused them as children. One, Lewis, had recruited the other, Alex, and testified as cooperating witnesses. In addition, 8 employees of Kelly's staff testified, corroborating details of Kelly's MO. Towards the end of the testimony on September 15th, 2021, video corroborating accusers' accounts of abuse was shown to the jury, but not public nor media. The videos were alluded to in later closing arguments as depicting Kelly delivering a painful spanking to one of the accusers, and a lengthy recording in which Kelly demanded acts of cope. I don't even know how to say that. I guess pee and throwing feces to humiliate another accuser. As the jury deliberated, the press were allowed to listen to the audio portions to fulfill obligations of access to evidence. Accounts confirmed that Kelly and his victims' voices are heard narrating the graphic acts of abuse to the latter recording. Months after the verdict, prosecutors disclosed that following Kelly's orders, at least 3 women made videos of themselves eating feces and rubbing it over their bodies. Now, this is sick and fucked up. If R. Kelly actually did this, and I'm sorry, excuse my language, but this warrants that type of response. This man needs to be in prison. If this actually happened, he needs to be in jail. Based off, or in a mental institution locked up forever for having these people do that. Once again, this goes back to why did this take so long to come out? Everybody involved should be in prison. Everybody that's apparently the crew that he hired that was complicit, the board of directors, which let me read some of this now. Where is this said about the people with R. Kelly saying there was other people involved? Not the final chapter. I don't need that right now. That's already bad news. That's coming. Speaking of which, for the people that want to watch it, it comes on tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe. One of the women said R. Kelly pushed her down the stairs. One of the recent victims. I think this was on episode yesterday. They talking about he pushed her down the stairs. R. Kelly loses it over Aaliyah's sex tape. Did they play this on the thing? I think they did. The tape that I put in was of him and Aaliyah together. What I saw on the tape was he and Aaliyah. Oh, this is what the other girlfriend was saying. Was he and Aaliyah being intimate. They were on the tour bus, and everything that I had asked him was confirmed on tape. However, she says R. Kelly caught her watching the tape, and they began arguing before he pushed her down a flight of stairs. Quote, the sheikh sent me down the stairs. I just froze. Once again, all this stuff should have been said. Why you would have put him in jail a long time ago if you would have spoke out about it. Once again, take somebody you're comfortable talking with. Something. A lot of this sounds so fishy. You got to ask how many of this stuff was payoffs, how much of it was hush. Did the money run out and you said something? It's kind of hard to say, but that's when a lot of this stuff, that's what it sounds like. What else we got here? I was looking for something specific as it relates to R. Kelly in the last statement I just read before this about all the people that was complicit. Apparently, he hired teams, the hush money. Point is, final verdict: all these people should be in jail. That's what the main point is. If R. Kelly's gonna go to jail, everybody should go to jail. Now they're gonna keep putting out the documentaries and all that. Now another question you have to ask yourself is at this point is Lifetime profiting off R. Kelly's downfall, or are they trying to get the facts of alleged predator out there for people to make their own opinions about? I'm gonna leave that for y'all up to decide. I got my opinion about it. I'd rather keep it to myself because the terms and condition of a lot of stuff I platform on. I'm very suspicious of a lot of things. I'll leave it at that. Thank y'all for listening. Retweet this, give y'all opinion. More than likely on Twitter and YouTube. YouTube, TJ the Prodigy, all lowercase letters, TJDA Prodigy. If you upset, say you're upset. If you like it, you agree with me, disagree, just say what you got to say. And I'm asking people online about how mad would y'all be about Cardi B, who hasn't went to jail for saying that she drugged men. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we're gonna continue to follow this. We'll pick up on it as need be. We're definitely gonna cover the February 2023 thing when it happens, along with the Tory Lanez thing, which is another fucked up situation. I did a video on that a few days ago. So go check that out. Once again, TJ the Prodigy on YouTube, TJDA Prodigy. And what is my name on Twitter? I always forget what my handle is on Twitter. My handle on Twitter it's TJ Time 1991, all lowercase letter. It's TJ Time 1991. Once again, have a good day. Love to see what everybody think about this. YouTube, Twitter. Have a good day and continue being smart and woke. Don't fall for what one person say. Always do your own research.